Namaste. I'm Alkananda Ma, Ayurvedic doctor and principal of Alandi Ayurveda Gurukula, a unique apprenticeship style school in Boulder, Colorado. And we do offer both 2-year and 4-year programs. Check it out. Stop by for a sample class and have some delicious lunch cooked by the wonderful Kayla. So, the last step on the road to recovery is, of course, getting moving. Having said which, the most important thing is never stop moving. In fact, I was just visiting with one of our best friends the other day, and he was sharing that a terrible thing happened to him when he was in hospital with a severe reaction to chemo, and nobody told him that he had to get up and keep moving. So he was too chemoed out to think about it. He just stayed in bed. Of course, it might have been partly the chemo that caused muscle wasting, but his muscles also just started wasting away from lying in bed. And it was really hard to get back to dog walking and the other important activities. So it's really important. Never stop moving. When I had my emergency surgery back in November, abdominal surgery. And mark you, I don't take opioids. I was just on Tylenol. It was really painful. I still, from day one, got out of bed and walked in my hospital gown round and round the ward and did that several times a day and just kept moving. You want to make sure that you never stop moving. That's especially important for older people because if you stop moving, you will, like my friend, lose muscle and never get it back. And even more important, don't stay in bed. Bed rest is lethal for all age groups and most especially for elders. So don't stay in bed. The other thing I did when I was in hospital, aside from going on my ambulations round and round the ward 2 or 3 times a day, I also made sure I got out of the hospital bed and into the chair. Well, I really didn't like the hospital bed, to be honest, because it's it's a piece of electronic equipment, and I don't do well with electronics. But I spent a lot of time sitting in the chair, which is at least not bed, and there I could sit and read once I got some books that I didn't have to deal with being bored or watching television. So never stop moving, don't stay in bed, and then get going incrementally. Going for a walk outside is very different than strolling around the ward. Sometimes we think because we can move around the house that we can move until we are meeting the challenges of curbs and ice and slopes and hills and road crossing and all of the different challenges that we do meet out of doors. So once we are ready for movement proper, we want to get going incrementally. Start with little. Once, quite a long while ago, this is back in the mid to late 80s, I was put on bed rest after being given a strong dose of homeopathic tuberculinum that reduced me to a state where I couldn't move. And I made that mistake and I stayed in bed because I was told to stay in bed and I believed the people. I basically had to learn to walk again. I mean, I would start with half a block because you just get so weak. So get going incrementally. We're lucky because we're a little ways away from here. We go up the slope and then we can do laps. So that's a pretty easy way to make increments because you can count how many laps you do. Get going incrementally, a little at first, then a little more, then a little more. Build gently. Ayurveda says just gently, gently. Keep building the amount of physical activity, the amount of exertion that you do. And according to Ayurveda, we want to exercise to half capacity. So full capacity would be where we'd be breaking a sweat and maybe start panting. The idea is not to do that, although I don't always completely follow that because it's hard to get to the top of Royal Arch or get up to Crystal Lake or anything that I enjoy doing without getting pretty puffed out. But you stop and you take a break and start over again. But we are supposed to, on a regular basis, exercise to half capacity. So when you're done exercising, you should feel that you can do it all over again. And so exercise to where you feel you can do it all over again and then gradually build that half capacity. Strolling, as we mentioned before, we touched on strolling under fresh air. Strolling is a great way to get moving. Walking, there's different types and gaits of walking. There's strolling, which is more of like a gentle rolling gait. There's a regular walk. There's a brisk walk. There's a power walk. There's walking. Some people like to walk and hold weights to get more exercise. Being hypermobile, that's a horrible thought to me, but some people like to do it. So different levels of walking. Um, when I was first had my surgery, I would complain, well, I can walk at elderly dog walking pace. Oh, I can walk at dog walking pace, but not at going somewhere with sudden underpace and slowly building up to where I could walk at going somewhere with someone 9 inches taller than me kind of pace. The different paces of walking. Also, of course, if you don't have a fracture or something that's stopping you doing it, you want to get going with some asanas. Doing your asanas, you could start with really gentle bed yoga, yin yoga. You could start with really gentle things, but gradually increasing the amount of asanas that you can do, or you can start with one pair of sun salutations and slowly build up. It's very important not to overdo the exercise. I mean, it's so exciting to want to get back to where we were before, but we go slowly, step by step. Try not to overdo, try not to get all knocked up. You will get there. You will get your capacity back, especially if you follow these guidelines of never stopping moving. Okay, so that's it for today. Don't forget to click the like button, subscribe if you haven't already subscribed, let your friends know about the channel, and we'll see you next week. Namaste.